No one remembered when the constellations began to move. There had been legends, nomad lights, fickle asterisms, omens etched in drifting sparks. But legends carried no urgency until the sky itself turned into a billboard. On the first recorded night, Orion's familiar belt slipped off his waist, wandered east, and snapped into a hard-angled glyph that looked nothing like any letter of any alphabet. By dawn, the shape had dissolved, but every observatory, backyard telescope, and ship-borne sextant reported the same impossible dance. Astronomers named the phenomenon celestial drift. The rest of us called it the whisper. I was 14, sprawled on my parents' roof with a cracked pair of binoculars when I saw the stars spell something for the first time. The glyph glowed, simple but elegant. 3 points for a triangle, 1 for its heart, 2 trailing like a comet's tail. A single word flashed across my mind. Begin, though no linguist on Earth could explain why. The impression was raw, unmediated, as if the sky had bent down and spoken through my optic nerve alone. My hands shook so badly, I nearly dropped the binoculars. Hours later, while the rest of the neighborhood still slept, I opened a terminal window on my laptop and typed decode sky da Seichtich seed triangle 1. I didn't know what I was looking for, only that whatever the whisper was, it could be parsed like code. 14 years have passed since that night. I've grown taller, and the binoculars have been replaced by a kilometer-wide array of linked telescopes on the roof of the old seaplane factory in Riga. But the feeling remains the same. A flutter beneath the sternum, half terror, half rapture. They call me Lyda Pale Palowich now, lead cis archaeologist for the Constellation Decoding Collective. My team is an assemblage of what polite society calls misfits, hackers who carve logic gates into obsidian, rogue linguists who conduct phonetics drills in Sanskrit at 3 a.m., witchy mathematicians who smell theorems in coffee grounds. Our job is simple to describe and impossible to do well. Interpret the nightly commands of unknown gods before anyone else can, because commands they are. We confirmed that 6 years ago, the night the sky wrote "Move Water." The glyph was unmistakable. Cassiopeia and Cepheus wrenched themselves into a jagged M, while Andromeda curved to form a V. An array of minor stars shimmered until the phrase burned silver against the black. The Kremlin's AI labs saw it first and interpreted it literally, diverting the Volga along a newly dug canal. Beijing's quantum linguists believed water meant trade and funneled billions into controlling shipping lanes. My own team traced the phrase through an old Sumerian cipher and found a subtler directive: shift the currents of influence. A Latvian startup that heeded our translation cornered the data center cooling market and rendered the older players obsolete. Move Water was less a command than a move in a cosmic game of Go. That night locked the collective into the global crosshairs. Governments offered funding or threatened black sites. Corporations waved equity packages like lures. Cults mailed us pickled organs as tithes. We accepted none of it and went silent, re-emerging only as a rumor, the Starmesh hackers who read the sky. Each member now moves like a molecule in Brownian drift, identities blurred, locations rotating. I transmit from Riga sometimes, Cape Town others, and once from a dirigible drifting over the Amazon, despite a Brazilian telecom satellite that tried to triangulate me. We must stay free. The whisper is not a puzzle you can monopolize. It is the spine along which reality bends. Tonight, something different stirs. The feeds light up at 1904. UTC. Telescopes in Chile report that Aquila has buckled south by 4 degrees, bending like a wing struck by lightning. Lyra tosses her harp and folds into a shape reminiscent of the Cyrillic D. The rest of the night sky is still settling when my phone chirps. A secure channel. Triple-layer quantum key. Pattern forming, says Rune, our dark matter ethnographer, voice like gravel. 73 glyphs predicted by 22 Sauzzi. You near a scope? Always, I mutter, jogging past idle aircraft husks on the factory floor. A Zeppelin skeleton rises in the gloom like a prehistoric ribcage. Beyond it waits the upper deck, a tangled web of fiber-optic lines and spiky dish mounts. Sticky Baltic fog wraps each beam, scattering the orange glow of sodium street lamps. I ascend a ladder so cold the rungs sear my palms. Up top, the half-moon bleeds through haze, and the constellations jiggle as if nausea-stricken. My arrays drink photons, funneling coordinates into a neural lattice, running on sub-zero nitrogen baths. Each star's position streams into the parser, a baby dragon of code we hatched over a decade. The dragon is bilingual. It speaks the old Babylonian star catalogs and post-quantum cascading logic. It complains often, but never lies. The first translation scrolls across my overlay lenses. A symbol at lon 25-16-08, lat 54-41-18, choose tide, carry fire, burn map. I hiss a breath. The coordinates point to Vilnius, Lithuania. Barely a train ride south. Choose. Tide is ambiguous. Could be timing, could be allegiance. Carry fire and burn map sound like revolt. Across the secure channel, Rune snorts. That's not a directive. That's an invitation. Or a trap, I say. Everything worth doing is both. A second script floods in minutes later, resembling a footnote. Observe silence when blood sings the river, will not remember your name. The poetic tone deviates from prior commands, which skew terse. Unknown gods, perhaps, but spontaneous art is new. The whisper is evolving, or new authors have taken the pen. Inside the collective, we have a rule. Always get a second pair of eyes. I ping Xenia, our resident morphological anarchist, stationed somewhere in New Zealand. Yep, saw it, she writes. Cross-correlated with Inuit star myths. Closest template. The hunt of the moon dogs. Suggest caution. Also, Vilnius rye bread is excellent. In other words, we go. I close the channel and freeze. Two silhouettes stand on the far edge of the roof. Fog swirls around them, shard thin. They haven't tripped any perimeter sensors. One lifts a hand, not hostile, just greeting. The other steps into the security floodlight and reveals a face I last saw projected onto a UN subcommittee holowall. Dr. Jalil Andong, astrophysicist emeritus, dismissed after he insisted the whisper encoded moral imperatives that trumped state law. His partner is Mike Lau, once chief cryptographer of 8 Petal Holdings, vanished after leaking the firm's data laundering network. Exiled prophets. If they found me, my camouflage is flaking. Lita, Jalil calls, his timbre low, apologetic. We come unarmed. Condensed reason for visit? I ask, palm hovering over the taser slit in my jacket. You need allies for tonight. The directives. They're more than you think. He gestures skyward. They're converging. I flick my lenses to public mode. The new glyphs are forming a spiraling spine across the ecliptic. Whole constellations shuffle at speed, unfathomable for interstellar masses. Laws of physics bend like reed stalks. I swallow, pocket the taser. We'll discuss on the way, I say. Train leaves in 30. We descend, gear up, and slip through the city's plasmid streets, where electric trams hiss and graffiti glows day glow violet under UV publicity drones. In the station, ticket kiosks blink, run while you can in cascading fonts. Someone hacked the ads. Not us, I hope. The ride south is a blur of pine silhouettes framed by lightning clouds. My companions brief me. Jalil's fringe research indicates that when glyph count exceeds 60, the resulting message is usually infrastructural. Think of it like a firmware update for civilization, he says. Tonight may rewrite more than libraries. Maiko's angle is darker. Unknown actors have been cross-referencing the glyph schedule with patterns in commodity futures. Someone profit mines prophecy, she spits, betting on which edict humankind adopts. They plan to accelerate chaos, then scoop up the bones. We reach Vilnius under iron skies. Northgate Square is empty. Wind whispers through medieval bricks. Street lamps flicker, each bulb replaced by hollow star-shaped filament. Someone prepared a stage. At 22:04 the sky hardens. My wrist counter hums. The constellations lock into a grid 13 stars by 13. A go board again. Glyphs snap like magnets. Combine, upload, awaken. Remember Atgrid's dragon, an obscure circumpolar pattern, swoops to underline, remember. The parameters of tonight's puzzle dwarf anything I've parsed. Rune buzzes the channel, voice hoarse. Multiple sites report the same deck of words, but different coordinates. Chicago, Dakar, Busan, all told to assemble. His breath rasps. This is a global call. Jalil spins in the square, arms raised as if measuring degrees with his bones. Look, he breathes. The stars, their sinking heartbeat. I peer up and see it. A pulse wave. Brightness modulating in 90-second intervals. The entire sky throbbing like alveoli. Radio telescopes worldwide will scream when data dumps hit. But I'm standing in cobblestones, deaf, reliant on retinas. What do they want uploaded? Maiko demands. Data. Consciousness. Before anyone answers, church bells toll 11. From shadowed alleys, figures emerge in 2s and 3s, hoods up, faces half lit by wrist screens, describing the same coordinates we decoded hours ago. Hobbyist astronomers clutch telescope tripods. School kids wave star plot apps. A homeless veteran drags a cart festooned with copper wiring tuned to cosmic microwave frequencies. Hundreds gather, lured by the whisper. No police yet. Maybe they're listening too. I climb the statue base of Grand Duke Gediminas and project my voice. If you can hear me, stand clear of the center. We don't know if Ground Zero is safe. Someone laughs bitterly. Safe is a 20th century privilege, he yells. Lights dim. The ground vibrates as if a subterranean engine just engaged. A ring of century-old cobblestones rotates. An ancient mechanism or new tech hidden under the square. Must be human-made, yet the whisper seems conductor of this orchestra. Within the ring, a perfect circle of blue plasma lifts, humming. Choose tide, carry fire. The earlier directives flash across the plasma membrane, iridescent. People gasp. Chorus of languages curls in cold air. A mathematician's reflex seizes me. Tide has 2 states, ebb or flow. Fire can burn or warm. Map can be kept or destroyed. Binary. Perhaps the gods request a decision tree from humanity. Maiko leans close. We're standing on a router, she whispers. Upload what, though? Jalil answers by stepping over the edge. The plasma licks his boots, but does not burn. Sensors hidden in his coat squeal faintly. He raises a hand, beckoning. This is data neutral, he cries. It wants input. Or sacrifice, Rune says in my ear, though he's continents away. The crowd hesitates. I look at the sky. The stars hold their breath. They've rearranged nightly for years, but tonight they hover, waiting. A jump. The plasma feels like warm seafoam. My neural implant lights up with readouts. Amplitude, phase, something akin to DNA, but encoded in photon spin. The field is a storybook begging for a tale. Think something, Jalil urges. Sweat beads his brow. Anything worth preserving. I picture my first night with the binoculars. The thrill. The roof tar smell, the twin pains of awe and loneliness. I picture my mother making pierogi while I babbled about triangulation. I picture the collective, shielding each other's backs across continents. Love in the margins of secrecy. The field shimmers, sucks the images out, archives them in silent light. Jalil's memories bloom next. Chalkboards, failed grants, the first time he was called mad scientist. Swirls of data ascend like campfire sparks. Others step in. A nurse clutching patient wristbands, a teenager reciting forbidden poetry, an old man humming the anthem of a country that no longer exists. Each offering rises into aurora threads that weave across the night, feeding the expectant stars. We are uploading the intangible. Grief, joy, memory. Rune crackles urgently. Background radiation spike globally. The whisper is absorbing energy, not outputting. You're inside a capacitor. Tread lightly. But lightness is impossible when the weight of humanity flows through your marrow. Tears flood my eyes. So many hidden songs. Then a scream. Sparks erupt as a young thug tries to haul equipment into the gate. Lithium bombs, maybe, or black market servers. The plasma rejects the load with violent thunder. He staggers, half his hair singed. Choose tide, the ring demands again. I see the binary choice now. Share or hoard. The tide of knowledge can ebb behind walls or flow free. The fire can illuminate or consume. The map can guide or rule. The whisper's imperatives are not orders but crossroads. Tonight, humanity decides, not gods. I shout across the ring. Hands empty, offer only what you wish the universe to keep. Most comply, discarding gadgets, ego, fear. A few refuse. The field ejects them, gently but firmly. When the circle is pure, the glyphs alter. Carry fire burn, map. Jalil's eyes widen. They want us to torch old boundaries, he murmurs. Flames rise from the rim, licking centuries-old mortar. Streets beyond remain untouched. The map is metaphorical. Borders in our minds, not on paper. Data continues streaming, but my overlay calculates a closing window. The grid of stars grows unstable. Imminent reversion. If we fail to discharge the capacitor correctly, planetary EMP could fry every circuit. We need an outflow, a tide channel. My dragon parser offers a possibility. Reversal pulse encoded in Natgrid's dragon tail. I trace the pattern, fingers midair, redirecting plasma threads to align with Ursa Minor's nodes. A sonic boom rattles saints from cathedral spires. The sky's heartbeat matches mine for one agonizing beat, then halves, then quarters, like a lullaby descending into sleep. Light drains from the ring, shoots upward, and disperses across the firmament. The constellations snap back to their mundane grids. We slump on cobblestones, drained but alive. Phones reboot. Power hums steady. Someone begins clapping. It spreads, subdued, reverent. Not victory, relief. Jalil stands, coat ash dusty. We passed? For now, I answer, voice raw. Tomorrow the sky writes again. Maiko stares upward. Look. Above, a single new constellation blazes where none existed. A spiral of 19 stars forming a coil around a central void. The edges shimmer between persistence and canon. Its name will take decades to decide, but I know the gist. The sky has bookmarked our story. News of the Vilnius miracle floods networks by dawn. Videos of citizens wading into blue fire loop incessantly. Governments denounce us. Scientists stare slack-jawed. Markets convulse. Futures in weaponized prophecy tumble. The world holds its breath, waiting for the whisper's aftermath. Yet nothing collapses. In fact, borders soften. 2 hostile states open refugee corridors. A Sudanese hacker releases free water recycling schematics. In Tokyo, a wind farm spontaneously reroutes surplus power to quake shelters without orders. Humanity is, for a rare minute,
cooperative. Day bleeds into night. I retreat to the Riga roof where it began, alone. The arrays sleep. I lie on cold metal, staring at unremarkable stars. My mind hums with uploaded memories, a phantom limb of collective soul. I should rest, but fear slips in. What if tonight the gods grow impatient? What if benevolence was a brief mirage? Midnight arrives. The constellations twitch. My breath catches. Instead of glyphs, the stars perform a simple gesture. They shimmer once, all at once, like a nod. Then they hold. No commands, no directives, just a pause. I laugh, tears streaming. For the first time in 14 years, the sky is silent, and not because it lacks a message, but because we finally answered. My comlink buzzes. Rune's voice, gentle. Hear anything? Only quiet. He exhales. Enjoy it. Won't last. I know. I sit up, flex fingers, open a blank buffer. Let's be ready. Because the sky will speak again, and hackers will listen. And every night we will decide anew whether to obey, interpret, or dissent. The unknown gods may move stars, but we choose the tide.